Imagine a stormy sea, a ship tossed by waves, and a man running from a mission he can't escape. Today we're diving into one of the most famous stories in the Bible, found in Jonah, chapters 1 to 4. It's called the Rebellious Prophet, and it's about Jonah, a guy who tries to dodge God's call, gets swallowed by a giant fish, and learns some hard lessons about obedience, mercy, and God's big plan. This tale is wild, heartfelt, and full of moments that hit home, like trying to avoid a tough job only to find it catches up with you. Let's jump into Jonah's story and see why it's so unforgettable. Our story starts in ancient Israel. Around 800 BC, Jonah's a prophet, someone God speaks through to guide his people. He's not a big-shot leader, just a regular guy with a direct line to God. One day, God gives Jonah a clear mission. Go to Nineveh, that huge, wicked city, and tell them to turn from their evil ways, or I'll judge them. Nineveh is the capital of Assyria, a powerful empire known for cruelty. Think of a city full of people who don't play nice, enemies of Israel. Jonah's supposed to warn them to change, which is like being told to walk into a rival's turf and call them out. Not exactly a fun assignment. But Jonah doesn't just hesitate. He flat out says no. He's not keen on preaching to people he sees as enemies, and maybe he's scared they'll laugh him off or worse. So instead of heading east to Nineveh, Jonah bolts west to Joppa, a port city. He finds a ship headed to Tarshish, as far away as he can get, think of it like booking a one-way ticket to the other side of the world to avoid a tough conversation. Pays the fare, hops on board, and thinks he's outsmarted God. Jonah's on the ship. He's probably feeling smug, but God's not done with him. A massive storm hits, winds, waves crashing, wind howling, the kind of storm that makes sailors panic. The crew's tossing cargo overboard, praying to their gods, desperate to stay afloat. Jonah, though, he's below deck, fast asleep like he's got no cares in the world. The captain finds him and yells, "What are you doing? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he'll save us." The sailors cast lots, kind of like drawing straws to figure out who's to blame for the storm. The lot falls on Jonah, and they turn to him. "Who are you, and what's going on?" Jonah comes clean. "I'm a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, the God who made the sea and the land. I'm running from him, and this storm's my fault." The sailors are stunned. They're like, "You ticked off the God who controls the sea. What do we do?" Jonah, to his credit, doesn't dodge responsibility. "Throw me overboard," he says. "It's the only way to stop the storm." The sailors don't want to. They try rowing harder, but the storm's too fierce. Finally, they pray for forgiveness and toss Jonah into the sea. Instantly, the waves calm, the sky clears, and the sailors are in awe, offering sacrifices to Jonah's God. Now, here's where things get wild. Jonah's floundering in the water, probably thinking he's done for, when a giant fish sent by God swallows him whole. No, this isn't a shark or a whale. The Bible just says great fish, so picture something big enough to gulp a man down. Jonah's inside this fish for 3 days and 3 nights in the dark, slimy belly, probably smelling awful and feeling worse. But he's alive, and in that unlikely place, Jonah prays. It's a raw, honest prayer, part gratitude. He admits he messed up, promises to obey, and thanks God for not giving up on him. Salvation comes from the Lord, he says. God hears him, and the fish spits Jonah out onto dry land. Imagine Jonah, covered in fish gunk, blinking in the sunlight, amazed he's alive. God doesn't waste time. He tells Jonah again, "Go to Nineveh and deliver my message." This time, Jonah's not arguing. He's learned his lesson the hard way. So Jonah heads to Nineveh. It's a huge city, so big it takes 3 days to walk across. Starts preaching. 40 days and Nineveh will be destroyed unless you repent. No sugarcoating, just the straight-up warning. But here's the surprising part. The people listen. From the regular folks to the king himself, they take Jonah seriously. The king declares a city-wide fast, no food or water, even for animals. Everyone puts on sackcloth, a sign of mourning, and prays to God, begging for mercy. They turn from their wicked ways, violence, cheating, you name it, hoping God will spare them. And God does. He sees their change of heart and decides not to destroy Nineveh. It's a massive turnaround, one of the biggest revivals in the Bible. You'd think Jonah would be thrilled, right? His preaching worked. But here's where the story takes another twist. Jonah's not happy, he's mad. Stomps out of the city, sets up a little shelter, and sulks. It prays to God, complaining, "I knew you'd do this. You're too merciful. I didn't want to come here because I knew you'd forgive these people. They're our enemies. Just let me die." It's like a kid throwing a tantrum because things didn't go his way. Jonah's upset because he wanted Nineveh judged, not saved. He's got a grudge, and God's grace doesn't fit his plan. God decides to teach Jonah one more lesson. While Jonah's sitting there, God makes a leafy plant grow to shade him from the scorching sun. Jonah loves it, finally getting some comfort. But the next day, God sends a worm to eat the plant, and it withers. Then a hot wind hits, and Jonah's miserable, baking in the heat. He's so dramatic, he says, "I'd rather die than deal with this." God steps in, asking, "You're this upset over a plant you didn't even grow. You cared about it because it helped you. How much more should I care about Nineveh city of 120,000 people who didn't know right from wrong, plus all their animals? Shouldn't I show them mercy?" The story ends there, leaving Jonah and Hughes to wrestle with that question. It's a mic drop moment, showing God's heart in a way that hits deep. So what's this story about? It's not just about a guy and a fish. It's about running from God, learning to obey, and understanding his heart. Jonah's rebellion shows us that you can't outrun God's call. Whether it's a job, a tough conversation, or a change we don't want, God's plans catch up with us. It's like trying to ignore a text from your boss. It's not going away until you deal with it. There's a big lesson about mercy. Jonah wanted justice for Nineveh, but God wanted redemption. The Ninevites were far from perfect, but when they turned to him, God forgave them. It's a reminder that God's love reaches everyone, even those we'd write off. It's like being challenged to forgive someone you can stand God. Grace, dose, and tea play favorites. Another takeaway is humility. Jonah thought he knew better than God, but the fish, the plant, and the worm showed him he's not in charge. It's like when life humbles us with unexpected twists, reminding us to trust the bigger picture, and there's hope here. Jonah messed up, but God didn't give up on him. The Ninevites were wicked, but they got a second chance. It's a story that says no matter how far we've strayed, God's ready to meet us with mercy when we turn back. The Rebellious Prophet is a wild ride of a story full of storms, a fish, a revival, and a sulky prophet. It's about running from God, finding his mercy, and learning to see the world through his eyes. It challenges us to obey when it's tough, embrace God's grace, and let go of our grudges. If you want to read it for yourself, check out Jonah, chapters 1-4. Think about it. What's God calling you to do? Where do you need his mercy? Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey through the Bible. Until next time, stay open and take care.